Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. Because you have news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be part of my conversation with Dach, the founder of Protect Our Care, discussing how seniors can deal with skyrocketing drug prices and how a new law can save them money. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Thursday headlines. In national news, Warnock delivers 51-seat Senate for Democrats and much more, says the Associated Press. For Senate Democrats, an oh-so-slim 51-49 majority never sounded so good. Senator Raphael Warnock's victory in swing state Georgia gives Democrats a welcome lift. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said Wednesday at the Capitol, newly confident of sidelining Trump-inspired Republicans in Congress and reaching across the aisle to other GOP lawmakers to deliver on bipartisan priorities for President Joe Biden. If we could get some bipartisan things done, it will of course be better for the country, and it will be better for the Republican Party, he said. Tuesday's election was just for one seat, but Warnock's win in the tight runoff provides an unexpected capstone to the midterm election cycle for his party. It makes it easier for Senate Democrats to organize and govern and provides a crucial edge in a divided Congress as Republicans take hold of the House. Gone is the especially intense political pressure of a 50-50 Senate that requires all Democrats to toe the line and made it possible for a single senator, notably Joe Manchin, to buck party priorities. The extra seat will give Senate Democrats a solid majority that provides greater control over not just floor votes, but also the committees, which are the backbeat of legislating. And mostly gone will be the days when Capitol Hill came to a standstill, awaiting Vice President Kamala Harris' motorcade for her role of breaking the votes, particularly for Biden's nominees, which she has had to do more often than any predecessor. Chuck Schumer's job is going to get a lot easier, said Senator Tim Kaine. After the longest evenly split Senate in modern times, the new dynamic ensures the chamber will serve as a barrier to legislation from the Republican House that Democrats disagree with, and a potential bridge for bipartisan deal-making as Republicans assess the post-Trump landscape. While it still takes 60 votes to overcome a filibuster and advance most bills in the Senate, there will be ample grounds for compromise, particularly if Republican leader Mitch McConnell is eager to show voters his party can deliver ahead of the 2024 presidential and congressional elections. McConnell was silent Wednesday on Warnock's victory and the new political reality. In January, for starters, Democrats will have an easier time using their 51-49 majority for simple tasks of governing, including votes on Biden's nominees to judicial and executive positions, which Republicans have wielded as weapons. In more national news, justices skeptical of elections case it could alter voting. The Supreme Court on Wednesday seemed skeptical of making a broad ruling that would leave state legislatures virtually unchecked in making rules for congressional and presidential elections. In nearly 3 hours of arguments, liberal and conservative justices appeared to take issue with the main thrust of a challenge, asking them to essentially eliminate the power of state courts to strike down legislature-drawn, gerrymandered congressional district maps on grounds they violate the state constitution. In international news, Putin says Ukraine fight is taking longer than expected. Russian President Vladimir Putin acknowledged Wednesday that his special military operation in Ukraine is taking longer than expected, but hailed the seizure of his neighbor's territory as a major achievement and said his country's nuclear weapons are deterring escalation of the conflict. Of course, it could be a lengthy process, Putin said of the more than 9-month-old war that began with Russia's invasion on February 24th of this year and has displaced millions from their homes and killed and wounded tens of thousands. Despite its length, he showed no signs of letting up, vowing to consistently fight for our interests and to protect ourselves using all means available. In more international news, Zelenskyy and the Spirit of Ukraine are Time Magazine's 2022 Person of the Year. Much of the world has spent the last year watching the war in Ukraine as the country defends itself from Russian attacks and asserts its identity on the global stage. So it may not come as a surprise to many that President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and the Spirit of Ukraine are officially Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2022. The magazine, which has bestowed the honor annually since 1927, released the announcement on Wednesday alongside a lengthy profile of the wartime leader. It credits his stewardship of Ukraine's defense, which has halted Russia's advance and regained key territories, as well as its public image. And finally, in business news, slumping tech stocks have sent Wall Street to another loss. Wall Street ended a wobbly day of trading with more losses Wednesday as a slide in technology companies helped pull stocks lower and treasury yields fell broadly. The S&P 500 slipped 0.2%, its fifth straight loss. The Nasdaq Composite, which is heavily weighted with tech stocks, fell 0.5%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished just barely in the green. The S&P 500 slipped 7 points to 3,934. The Nasdaq fell 56 points to 10,959. The Dow managed a 1.58 point gain, essentially flat, closing at 33,598. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Thursday's affirmation is this: I will use today to strengthen the weak areas I discovered yesterday. I will not make the same mistakes that lead to failure. Today I choose to win. Have an amazing Thursday. We have part of my conversation coming up with Leslie Dach of Protect Our Care in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Leslie Dach, the founder of Protect Our Care, joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about how seniors can deal with skyrocketing drug prices and how a new law can save patients thousands of dollars. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Leslie, thank you so much for the time today. Really do appreciate it.
No, happy to be here, Cyrus, because as you said, the cost of drugs is an issue that dominates many kitchen tables in America and affects our seniors particularly.
Talk to us, Leslie, if you don't mind, about the financial and health impact we're seeing when it comes to rising prescription drug prices.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, what we're seeing is that 1 in 4 seniors tell us that they simply can't afford the drugs they know they need to take. So they're making hard choices they shouldn't have to make. They're skipping doses. They're cutting pills in half because they have to choose between their health and the food on their table. And that's just wrong in America. You know, we pay 3 times more for the same drug as people do in Canada or in the rest of the world. And this bill and next year, because of it, seniors will finally begin to get the relief they deserve.
Listen, I'm glad you mentioned that. That tees this up perfectly because a lot of people have heard about the Inflation Reduction Act for sure. And one of the things that we heard a lot was, okay, you may not see the impact until 2023. So how does that benefit patients?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because, these bills have strange names and people think they're about politics. But really, this one's about actually, keeping people alive. So 3 things will happen starting just in a few weeks on January 1st, the beginning of the relief. First, if you're a senior on insulin, your monthly insulin costs will be capped at $35 a month, as opposed to hundreds of dollars a month that you could spend today. So that should make a big difference for the diabetics who can't afford their insulin today.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. But we'll guys on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, we're host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.